You're watching TVC Breakfast. Let's get to our next discussion now. Nigeria's Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, ministers and other heads of ministries, departments and agencies of the federal government failed to answer a summons issued by House of Representatives ad hoc committee investigating alleged theft of Nigeria's 48 million barrels of crude oil valued at $2.4 billion. The concerned officials who did not turn up at the committee's official opening caused a setback in investigations. The House ad hoc committee was set up to investigate alleged loss of over $2.4 billion in revenue from illegal sale of 48 million barrels of crude oil export in 2015, including crude oil exports and sales by Nigeria from 2014 until today. So these are some of the things we'll be talking about as we get along. Now, we're expecting Sheson Kwade to join us shortly, but joining us on Zoom from Abuja we have engineer Alex Ney, the managing director, CEO of GACMOC Nigeria Limited, and ex-Chevron management member of staff at Chevron at the time. It's nice to have you join us, Alex. Good morning.
Good morning.
Great. All right, he's joining us from Delta. All right. Now, make us understand, when it comes to this issue of oil theft, it has been on the headlines as news for a long time, decades of issues of oil theft in Nigeria, yet we're not able to investigate, arrest people, find out the true issues around what is stolen and ensure that we mitigate that. Talk to us first about the challenges in monitoring the oil that we produce and export for Nigeria.
I've handled this situation once in Arise, Delhi, when they had Tom Polo and some others to go after the people stealing the oil and get all the stations. And it's very, very clear. It's a syndicate action, and those who are benefiting is from top to bottom. So on the basis of that, nobody really cared to want to get to the root of it because it's a big syndicate action, like I say, from top to bottom. The incident that showed up then around Escravos area, in which you have a Shell station and all those near it, I made it very, very clear. The type of operation there's no way it could happen without NNPC, DPRO, Shell people, and the people around knowing. And I keep saying it. The oil theft, it's not a small joke that you think is the Niger Delta boys in the creek that are doing it. They're just agents going there and work for peanuts. The real people who make the money, they are the agents I've mentioned. And it's a collaboration of all the agents I've mentioned so far. All of them, they are aware to lay a 4-inch pipe into the ocean from the dock and do all the connection there. That's not something done by any engineer or technician, no. So that makes it clear that it is a willful act just to extort money for personal gains, which those people are involved in. Put that aside, when you talk about the present $2.4 billion and oil theft and all that, it's just that Nigerians are just wicked to this country in attempt to get money for themselves. Now, how do you take crude for refineries that are not working? You don't need you don't need anybody to do any investigation. The refinery is not working. You are taking crude for the 2 refineries. Where is the crude going to? If you sell it, the money should go back to the government because you're not putting it into the machine, produce refined products. So that should serve as income, straight income to the federal government. Because even the money they use in maintenance or repairs and all that. They call turnaround maintenance and all this crap. It's just a way to waste money. Most refineries, they are like a human body. You have two units. So when one is down, the other is running and all that. So it's very, very strange. I feel really sad to start talking about the Nigerian industry and the refineries. We all know what to do. The government know what to do. Nobody should claim ignorance. But it's just because of the innate wickedness and corruption that's making these things happen. We have no business in importing products. What is the consumption? You have Port Harcourt there, you have Warri, you have Kaduna. Port Harcourt, the Batu, the Warri. The volume these refineries can produce can serve this country, and we have a chance to export. But willfully or otherwise, they leave them to get destroyed so that they can continuously import products from outside. Then, as an incentive for further corruption, you now put in subsidy. So somebody brings 100 million liters of petrol, you will say he brings 300. DPR or the present regulatory body then we say, well, we inspect it, they brought 300 million. Meanwhile, that company maybe brought just 100 million. So federal government will pay for 300 million liters of petrol as being imported and subsidy is paid on it. So where is the money going? I keep saying it, I don't know what people want to do with all that money. If for nothing else, countries develop and look into the future for unborn generation. That's how it is. This one is like winner carry all and whatever. It's an aberration. So I don't know. But it's very sad. Not that it cannot be investigated. It can be investigated clearly. Anybody who says it cannot be investigated or whatever is a joke. Call few people. We can call few people around. We get.
Right, it seems we're losing the audio there of Alex Ney. Okay.
Please, and they want to investigate. They'll get to the root of it. But it's a cartel, so everybody is benefiting from the illegal money they are carrying away. So that's why we can't get anything.
Now, it's interesting what you have said and how you have broken it down. Now, the ministers, heads of MDAs have been summoned by the House of Representatives and they didn't show up. Is it more of a question of collaboration or fear of that cartel?
There is nowhere in the world where the House will invite people and the people refuse. That is a violation. That is the highest point of violation, because if for any reason the oversight powers of the Senate and the House of Rep makes it mandatory, they have to, unless they have something to hide. And if they refuse to show up, get the police and arrest them. Arrest those guys. The law gives them the right to do that. There's no human being who's above the law. The House can call the president, either House of Rep or Senate, can invite the president and say, look, come. We want to interview you on certain issues. There is no moral justification why he will not go if we are really running a proper democracy. So their refusal is an affront against the document we all sign and call Constitution. But that's Nigeria for you, where people go away with all kinds of scrap they want to do. It's impunity. They get invited, they will tell them what they are inviting them for, then they prepare themselves and come there and put up a defense or explanation. That is basic. Whether it is fake explanation or not, they have that moral justification legally to appear there and tell them what they know. But refusal to show up, that is an affront against the democratic process which we think we are practicing. And sincerely, I don't see us going what it should be democratically. Because if it is, nobody in this country is above the law to refuse to show up for an interview or investigation by the House. So something is definitely wrong, and we all have to check ourselves and see how far we can amend things.
All right.
Right now, it is not a democratic setting, because if it's a democratic setting, they dare not refuse to show up. And that's where the people in the Senate and House of Rep, I don't know whether they are compromising or not. You call those people to come in. If they refuse, get them arrested, summon them. You know, it's only in Nigeria you call people to the Senate or House of Rep, they will not show up. It doesn't happen anywhere in the world.
All right.
It doesn't happen anywhere in the world. Even in communist environment, if as bad as we think the communist setting is, in Russia, for example, if somebody is found wanting, they invite him. That man dare not refuse to show up. And we say it's a communist setting. Here we have a democratic setting, and we are doing this. So I don't really know. It's a shame.
All right. As a way of enlightening all of us, Nigeria is not the only country that is an oil-producing state. We've seen, in fact, at the time there was one video that went viral. I think it was from Saudi Arabia or the United Arab Emirates, where they talked about how every single drop of oil from their country is monitored until it is delivered to wherever it's going to anywhere in the world. Talk to us basically, what is it supposed to be for Nigeria when it comes to giving account and being at the top of every account of whatever oil that we're producing? How is it supposed to work? Can you take us through that?
Well, it's in Saudi Arabia, they have that control room. It's like a visualization center where all fluid stations, activities, wells are tied into. We have several screens showing different areas of production and all the export lines, what goes into chips, everything. Just one central big session where they watch it. Saudi, they are not smarter than Nigerians. It's not that they are more prudent and more honest to themselves and more committed to their country, and hence they did that. If we decide to do that in Nigeria here, yes, we're capable of doing it. But at the end of the day, because of the nature of the type of people we are, we sabotage one portion of it, and at the end of the day, you see that this fuse is missing, so we cannot see this. When they want to do those type of things, they just disconnect one. Oh, this fuse here is bad. But we just have to wake up. You know, I feel very, very dismayed that some of us came into this country, had everything free, from primary school, university, everything, without going anywhere. Look at where we are now. Look at where we are because of corruption. So that is something Nigeria could have done. But even if they spend the money to do it, because of the nature and the type of people we are, we will sabotage that system. Sometimes you go to the screen, it will be blank. We have the best laws, the best rules you can think of in the world. But when it comes to implementation, for every new law you create, there are people who are going to capitalize on it to make money. Look at small Delta state here. You have some blue uniform people, some brown uniform people. They're supposed to check traffic. What are they doing? They stop people with their wood or whatever. Grab them. You violated this, that. By the time you drive a little bit further, they will not say, okay, if we take you there, they will test you for whether you are mentally okay. And they will charge you this. Total amount will be like 200,000 naira. Why don't you give us 10,000? We'll let you go. And a lot of people are vulnerable. So they pack money. And they did it. I say, hey, we are going to the end of this road. We must get to your office and whatever. So I start cruising down. Get to Poga, stop. Say, stop for where? We are going down there. It got to a point, they said, stop. They jumped out of the vehicle. You know, Nigerians must wake up to start facing the challenges. We can't be running away. All these things we're talking about is because people are not coming out to challenge. And the reason why all this thing is happening, from the police to wherever, is absolute corruption. And even the recruits say, well, I will wait. One day I'll become IG. It will be my turn. So that's why this whole thing is a network from all sectors. Is it ministry? The cleaner, oh, the day I become permanent secretary, I know what happened there. I'm not going to talk, I wait. So by the time you join the ministry, from beginning as a fresh graduate, before you get to permanent secretary, you've adopted all the illegal ways of extorting money. Look at what a permanent secretary have on ground as assets. Compare what is paid over the period, even if you assume that his salary is X as permanent secretary for the 35 years he served. If you put them down, it will not add up. Everybody is aware. Is it general? Who? All over the place. So you cannot quantify what they have on ground against the full salary over the period they serve. Something is wrong. We all know this. Why are we shying away from it? So it's the same thing. This system will be installed to monitor every barrel of oil. Now, if you go back again, you see that there is open information law. What does that mean? You can ask for anything. Look at all these villages. Who knows what barrel of oil comes out of each of the wells they have? By the open information law, the communities can write and say, we have X, Y, Z wells in our area. We want to know the production from it because it's that production that you use in calculating all the benefits.
We're losing your audio again.
Okay. Will tell you. These are affronts. These are leakage to massive corruption. Because if it is known, then the people can use it to calculate what they are due based on what oil and gas volume coming out of their area. Nobody knows. If you try to ask, they will chastise you. Even use government, use the police to harass you. So there are a lot of things that need to be straightened out. A lot of things. Look at policemen. They buy their own uniform and sew their own uniform by themselves. Meanwhile, there should be a budget for their shoes, uniform, and everything. Where is the money? Well, I will buy when I become IG, I will be in charge. So that scenario has to change. We have to leave that mode of closing our eyes to corruption and all this impunity just because we are waiting to get there. How many people will be IG? How many people will be chief of naval staff? If we break it down, then this country will start falling in line. Even educationally, is it university? Is it NUC? Look at the whole thing. Most universities you see in this country, they have budgets. NUC will approve and all that. Ask the VC, they will not tell anybody. But I'm in touch with some of them. For them to collect the money they are due based on budget, they have to tip people, either in the ministry, finance, whatever, to be able to get their money. So when you let go all that money and it's part of the budget, when you get back to the university, how do you have enough money to run? So this is a systemic thing in our system which I don't know how we can get out of it, because it has gone into us as a way, and somebody has to wake up and crack it down. The person might not survive, but let somebody do something. So that's just it. So the idea of monitoring, like what they have in Saudi and all that, those are good innovation. How do you produce without knowing what volume comes out of the place? Even the oil companies, there are rules. You have to test your well this number of times. How many people test the wells according to the rules? How many of them disclose the volume produced from the wells to the communities where they come? They will not do. Now the law is there. The communities, even if they're right, nobody will listen to them. So it's a chain reaction, and there must be a way to break it. And the only way to break it is bring credible people into the system. It's going to be tough, because you have all down the line, it's a chain. But when you hit some key positions out and bring credible people in, then everything will open up. Yeah. So, yes, I'm hearing.
Yeah, you're saying you were talking about subsidy the other time.
I'm hearing you.
You're talking about subsidy. Can you hear me now?
Okay.
You're talking about subsidy the other time. You gave a scenario about bringing in 100 million and then putting in the records 300 million. And if you add that to the billions of dollars that we lose to oil theft, it means that we really have no problem, no need fearing the prospect of a removal of oil subsidy, because there will actually be enough money if we can take care of these two problems to to really take care of the anxieties over inflation, over cost of living, and even standard of living.
Well, I think what are we really subsidizing? You have 300 and the rating is 100 million, and you pay subsidy. So who are we subsidizing? More than 15 years ago on national TV, one of the TV stations, I asked the question, who are we subsidizing for? Look at the volume of product that is being used. Some of them are diverted to other countries. But even based on the diversion, the total volume don't add up. So nobody's fooling anybody. We know what is going on. Everybody knows what is going on, who is in this industry. It's just that people will not talk because of the status quo. You don't want to rock the boat or whatever. And that's why even when I was in Chevron, if I appear on television, I tell them, this is Alex Nain's view, it's not Chevron's view. So take me out of Chevron while I'm facing the camera. I'm talking as a Nigerian with all rights. So take me out and let's face the reality. The government invests money on people like us. We have a responsibility for this country before whatever company we work for. We're Nigerians before we became engineers and before we go into our respective organization. We have a responsibility in our separate organization to ensure that things are done properly. But we don't. Most of our people don't. Because you want to sustain your job. In America, you cannot do that. There's set law. You go in there, you work, you commit to your company, but at the same time, you work within the laws of the country. That is the difference between them and us. We compromise. Things we know are wrong professionally, we'll do it because that's what our company wants. And these companies will not try this in their home countries. It doesn't happen. It doesn't. So what are we talking about? Look at the cost of drilling a well here. Look at the cost of drilling a well in Gulf of Mexico, the same terrain. It's 7 and 8. Their salaries are better off there than here. We pay less money. So why should we be the ones spending more money to produce the same hole like they do in the Gulf or in some North Texas land area? These are things that are questionable. And we can check this through Google. Just go in there, check. A well that is 10,000 feet in North Texas, 10,000 feet, either in Pune here or some other oil areas. Compare the price. So there's so much wastage.
All right.
Then we're talking of pollution. Pollution, what are we talking about?
All right.
I sit down here, I see Otoro with black flag. And what does it take to get it done?
Okay.
Turn the liquid or the gas into scrubbers before you flare. They will not do it. Sometimes they leave it. The water refinery is empty. Look at the whole place.
Yeah.
Black leaves all over the place.
All right. We have to leave it here now. We must thank you so much, Alex Naim, for the insight that you have given to us on these issues. I believe that in the coming days, this is still going to be a topic we would like to beam searchlight on, and we can talk more on what needs to be done and the way forward. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much.
Thanks.